Hey, what's going on, guys? Brownwoods TCG, and we are back at it with another banger video. And today we are going through my second championship series right here. This was over here at Top Deck Keep. It's a store in Riverside, California. And yeah, it was a huge tournament, like 22 people that showed up. And funnily enough, I got matched up against my friend that I went to the tournament with, who's playing Gekko Moria right here. And we got matched up first round, first match of the day. And yeah, it was kind of unlucky for us. We wanted to meet a little bit later in the tournament, hopefully in the finals. But you know, we got this banger of a matchup, first game of the night. So here we go. Started off strong. Our opponent gets the Sindri. Typical first play for Moria. He gets some trash in there. I don't think he got too many great things in his trash. He just got the hog back. I think he got another Sindri and then a 8 Moria. And then we just go ahead and throw the Mad Max onto the field, just to apply a little bit of pressure, make our opponent second guess on if he wants to bring anything out, because it will be getting bounced. And so right here, our opponent attaches 1, trashes a Helmeppo. Oh, he actually ends up trashing the Perona, and he brings the Perona back. And then, of course, he has to bottom, or no, actually, he just brings it out. And then I'm faced with this with a decision here. I have to trash a card out of my hand. Getting Perona is never feeling good. It never feels great. So I just choose to trash a Shiraya because I've had the experience of playing Shirayas against Gekkos, and I feel like they just get removed too easily. So here we just toss it, take the hit, and we swing 5. And our opponent takes there. We bring out Film Law, reduce him by 2,000, Shambles, bottom deck, and bring in the Penguin, add 2 rested. Typically, I don't really like going for that turn 1 Shambles, but I had the Penguin in hand here. I had the Gordon already on the field. So, you know, this lets me ramp up to 5 Dawn next turn, and then I already have my Max on the field, so I can go Kid and then Max reduce whoever he puts in right here. So that's kind of what I was thinking. I was saying I can turn 2 Shambles because I'll still be able to get another Shambles in next turn as long as Max stays on the field. Typically, I take my first 2 life hits pretty generously. So yep, I take the life hit right there, add it to hand, and he taps 1 for the Patchwork. He reduces our Penguin -3. Patchwork is a pretty good card. My opponent here is definitely cooking up with some hidden technology for Moria. All right, and then he hits me with the Ice Age. Or actually, wait, was that an Ice Age? I don't know if that was an Ice Age or another Patchwork. It was a double Patchwork. So he pretty much reduces. Oh no, he doesn't. I'm sorry. He hits me with 1 Patchwork, and then he brings in the Lucci right there. The glare was kind of throwing me off. So he brings in Lucci, KOs Gordon, and Penguin. You know, pretty unlucky for us. So now we're at 5 Dawn here. We can't get rid of the Lucci and bring in Kid as we wanted to. So we're gonna have to improvise a little bit here. Gonna have to see what will be the most efficient play for us. So I swing 5 to lead, just trying to give as little away as to my game plan as possible. I always swing first before I make these moves. So I end up just bringing out Kid straight up, Shambles, bottom deck the Sindri to bring in Beppo, add 1 Dawn, set it as rested, and the Kid brings in 1 active. So I figured that bringing the Kid out was more valuable than not bringing the Kid out and just trying to Shambles away the Lucci with maybe like a Beppo Max and then Shambles into something else. Once Kid hits the field, he becomes a really big threat, and he's a really good asset to have because he's ramping you Dawn every turn. Every time that you Shambles, he's going to be giving you that +1. You know, Shambles -3, Kid brings you back +1. It's just super nice to have on the field. And then I touch the last Dawn, swing 6, make him take this life, and we pass it over to him. Alrighty, so we're in a pretty good spot, I would say. We have another max in hand. I saw it earlier. Yeah, we got a max, we got a buena, it looks like. Just trying to look at my opponent's life here, see if I could fish out anything that he wants to do. Alrighty. Hopefully our opponent doesn't have too much removal left, because he just hit us with a good amount of removal. We did see him bottom 2 patchworks for the Lucci effect. I don't know if he runs Great Eruptions. Actually, I do know he does not run Great Eruptions. That's why he runs a patchwork instead. You just have Ice Ages and stuff like that. Helmepos. We see some in the trash right there. Got 2 Helmepos, 2 Surus in the trash. So as far as removal rise, he has a lot of his removal already either in his trash or at the bottom of his deck. I don't think I noticed that in game, but looking at it now, that's what I'm picking up on. So, yep, he swings 6 to Arlaw. Leader ability, trashes Lucci. Trash 2 from the top of the deck, and he trashed 2 Ice Age. So that was actually extremely unlucky for him. Really good for us. Top 2 cards that he has to trash for Moria effect are the 2 Ice Ages that he was probably looking for. And he's going to go ahead and not be able to use those for the rest of the game. I don't know how many Ice Ages he runs. I don't think it's 4. I believe it might just be 2, maybe 3. So if it is just 2 that he's running, that's all of his Ice Ages gone. And so yeah, he swings 6 to our Law here. Brings in Hogback, grabs the 8 Moria back to hand, which leaves him 4 Dawn left. He still has a swing with Lucci. And he swings 8 to lead. So here I know that Kid's not getting removed this turn, so I just take the life. And he hits a brand new search, whiffs on it, and passes it over to us. So Kid stays on the field, which is always good. Always feels great, especially against black decks who can just literally Ice Age it and then destroy you a numerous amount of ways. But right there, we did see the 2 Ice Ages get trashed. I did see that in game, you know, and I was thinking about that. So we're sitting at 6 Dawn here with 1 Kid already on the field. If we can bring in another Kid, I don't know if I have one in hand, but if we bring in another Kid and maybe go for like a Kid max. Okay, we can see the hand here. Beppo, 2 Buenas, 1 max, and I believe 2 Otamas. That's not a great hand at all. So let's see what we end up doing here. I know that the Moria is probably coming in next turn. So my mindset here is I want to clear as much of this board as I can. And just wait for one of my bigger bodies to come in. So let's see what we end up doing. I tap 1 to bring in Raise Max. So I bring in the max, I reduce Lucci by 3,000, and I swing 5 to Lucci, which is at 3,000, and add 1 Dawn ramped, rested. So I get rid of the Lucci. I get rid of the Lucci here without having to shambles him, which is a pretty strong play if you guys don't already do that. So instead of like I could have just shambles him immediately right there, but I know that I want to remove 2 different bodies, so I have a lot of reducers in hand as we just seen, right? I still got the Otama. Oh, I have a Queen as well. That's pretty good. So I tap 5 here to bring in the Queen. Dawn -1, draw 2, trash 1. So right here I was just trying to find better stuff to shambles in, because I knew I was gonna shambles out this Hogback. Or actually no, I don't even think I can, because yeah, I have no Dawn up for the Otama, so I just end up hitting the search, draw 2, I trash the Black Bug. Leader ability -3 to bottom deck the brand new. And I bring in the Beppo, add 1 Dawn ramped, add 1 Dawn active for Kid, and then I swing 6 to lead. Force him to take this one. And I pass. So in hindsight, what I could have done here is, looking back at this now, when I did the -1 Dawn for Queen, I could have chose to bring it back active right there, which would give me 1 active Dawn, and I could have played the Otama, reduce Hogback, shambles him out, and then bring in the Beppo. I could have done that to completely clear board there, but I don't think I saw that play right in the moment that I was playing, and I ended up just attaching the Dawn and swinging 6 instead of 5. So our opponent right there, he does have a good amount of counter in hand, as we can see right here. So maybe he just counters out of the 5 hit, but it's all good. We ended up doing this play. The Otama stays in our hand as a 2K and as a reducer. So 2 Beppos on board, 1 Kid, 1 Queen. We're set up pretty nice defensively. We have 1 life left. So our opponent brings in the Moria, subtracts 3, and hits the Lucci to KO. Luckily for us, he only can KO 1 body, as he does not have any 1 Dawn plays to be able to get a second reduction on one of our other characters. Like if he would have had one of the Ice Ages there, easily hits the Ice Age on Queen, and then Lucci knocks out both of our blockers. But luckily for us, he does not have that, and he ends up having to just attach that last Dawn to swing 6 to Beppo, which we should block here. I give a 2K, and I know that he has 1 last 5K swing, and I could just easily block that with my Queen. And he just passes because he kind of sees that as well. He knows that I'm just going to block it out. No use. Maybe he should have just still swung there, just kind of, you know, try to catch me off guard, see if I was paying close enough attention, but I definitely was paying attention right there. I would have blocked it for 6. So back to us. Our opponent has 5 cards in hand, 6 cards in hand. Still set up to defend a last you know, push to the finish here. So I kind of noticed that, and quickly I realized that I have to start clearing board here and slowly chip away at his hand. That's the only way that I'm gonna be able to win this. He has no blockers up on the field. I don't think he has any blockers in his trash as well. So he can't really defensive Moria. So I bring in the Buena Festa. Typically I don't like to play these 2Ks, but in dire situations I need to get a reducer here. So I think I was fishing for a raise max, and I actually ended up finding it right here on that last card that I drew. I don't know, I feel like I don't really like searchers because I don't know, when I draw the cards and I see what I could have had next turn on that first draw and then I have to bottom it, it doesn't really feel great to me. I just rather cycle through everything with like card draw instead of just search. So I end up finding the Mad Max there, bring him to hand. So we have 6 Dawn left active. I believe our opponent is at 9 Dawn. We are at 6. No, we are at 7 Dawn. All right. I tap another 1 to reduce Lucci by 3,000. And I send 5 to Helmeppo, add 1 Dawn so that it's rested, which brings me up to 8 total Dawn. Our opponent is at 9. And I minus 3 Dawn to bottom deck Lucci. And to bring in Shiraya. No Dawn ramp, just get a blocker on the field. Which leaves me with 5 Dawn left. And I send 7 to Hogback, add 1 Dawn so that it's rested since I just shambles and that put me back down in Dawn. See if our opponent decides to block this. He does see that I have 3 Dawn up, so I could swing another 8 into this Hogback. So if he tries to defend this to give me 2 cards, I'm just going to swing right into it again. Which is ultimately my goal, right? Like I want to be getting cards out of my opponent's hands with these swings. So he does counter 8 here, and then I swing 8 into Hogback, and he is forced to take it. So right there, I took some cards out of his hand. I cleared his field right here, and I just left him with that 8-cost Moria while we built our board back up to 5. So right here, our opponent is seeing what options he has. He's sitting at 2 life. He has 4 cards in hand. He has Kuzan, Sabo, Just looking at his grave right here to kind of see what to expect, see what I can expect. I saw an Absalom right there. You guys got to remember, we did see our opponent use already a lot of his removal. Well, he didn't use his removal. He used some of it, and then he had to, like, you know, bottom some other stuff. He trashed some other stuff. So right off rip, we already should be knowing that, you know, he probably does not have any removal stuff. Especially because that last Lucci play, you know, he only was able to remove one thing. So we're in a pretty good spot here. I think it's our game to win here. Or our game to lose. I don't know how that saying goes. Like, we're in a pretty comfortable spot, right? We got 2 blockers up, 2 Beppos that are rested, which our opponent is kind of forced to go into them, because if not, we're just going to be getting Dawn back. So he just goes for the Moria play here to bring out the second Moria. Bring out the Lucci Helmeppo. Let's see who he chooses to KO here. So he reduces our Shariah down to 0, and then he KOs the Buena and the Shariah. Alright. And he ends up bottoming 3 cards from his grave, which leaves his grave pretty small. Alright. He still has 1 swing with one of his Morias, and then 1 swing with his leader. He swings 7 to Beppo here. So here I'm faced with a decision. I have 2 cards in hand. He has no blockers on the field. So I'm thinking, do I go for game here next turn? And I decide, yeah, I'm going for game. So I end up pitching out 9k to save this Beppo. And then he swings another 8 into Beppo. Obviously I have to take it. And I am left with no cards in hand and 3 bodies on the field. And our opponent is at 2 life. So it's about knowing when you can go for game, I feel. As like what differentiates you as like a really good Red Purple Law player, because pretty much if you look at his board right now, right, he has 2 Morias and a Lucci. Next turn he is probably gonna win, just based off, like, you know, swings. I had a few cards in hand, so you kind of have to know when you can and when you can't go for game. So right there I send 7 to life. He takes. I'm just calculating how I want to do this. I send another 7 to life. He takes. And I send 7 to lead. And he takes there. So right there, I had a top deck Rush Zoro ready to hit that final hit right there. I don't know, man. I don't know what it is, but something about me, the way that I play, especially against my friend right here, I always be hitting him with top deck Rush Zoros to like finish games. He's hit me with them a couple times whenever we did a deck swap match. He played Reparable and I played some other stuff, and he hit me with a top deck Zoro for game. So that's why I chose to swing 6 there. Some of you guys might have been wondering, wow, why don't you just swing 10 for game? I'm like, nah, swing 6, get a 2k out of his hand, and then swing 8 to go for game. So there you have it. That was the first match of this tournament, of this new championship series. Hopefully you guys liked it. Hopefully you guys learned something. Yeah, unfortunately for our opponent, he ended up not having any of his removal mid to late game. He had it early, and then he just had an unlucky series of events where he trashed 2 Ice Ages, and then I believe he like used a Patchwork, and then he had to trash a Patchwork as well. So unlucky for our opponent right there. Lucky for us, we ended up winning this and moving on to the second round, where we faced off against, I believe it was a Reiju, which was a pretty interesting match as well. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. That is definitely a must-watch for you Red Purple Law players, because that is an unlosable game, I feel. And if you're losing as Reiju, as Red Purple Law, you need to watch this upcoming video in this series in order to learn how to beat him pretty easily too. So thank you guys for watching this game. Again, this was the first match of a 4-part series that I'm gonna be uploading throughout this week. Appreciate you guys. If you guys like it, sub to the channel, leave any comments and questions and stuff like that. I'm gonna drop the deck list that I was using for this specific tournament as well. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Later.